What the fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
Welcome to Preach Care, Preach with Rashad. We are the prophets. Here's another episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports, Zingo TV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere else you can find us. Welcome to the show. What's going on, Rashad?
We're back again, man. Quarantine.
Hey, shout out Tory Lanez, man.
Shout out Tory Lanez, man.
That's a funny guy. We are here. We're just gonna Rashad, gonna fix your camera for a second for us. It'll be all good. First off, let's kind of start into what happened in the NCAA today. We had two high school seniors decide to not go to the March Madness, not sign up. I think Isaiah Todd went to Michigan. Jalen Green did announce his decision. Well, come to find out, these guys are heading to the G League, $500,000 deal. Obviously, you can't beat that going in. So, what are your thoughts on it? On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it for the NCAA? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good is it for the G League?
I think it's cool, man. For the G League, you got guys now opting for the paycheck over going to the NCAA and not making any money. So you can't fault the guys for that. Most of the guys are all about, getting to the pros to make money. So now you have the chance to at least get on-the-job training. So I can't blame them for that. On a scale of 1 to 10 for the players itself, this is a 10 for them. You're going to get paid. It's not the multi-millions that LeBron and other guys are making, but $500,000 for on-the-job training right out of high school, you really can't beat that. And for the NCAA, as far as how bad is it, it's a 10 because it's bad for them because now you can't exploit these players. They've taken LaMelo Ball, R.J. Hampton. Now you have these two guys. They're taking their fate into their own hands. So right. You can't be mad about them doing that.
No, definitely, yeah. Money talks, man. Money walks. So I can't fault them for going there. So we'll see. We'll see if this is a success. We'll see if it turns into a trend. I'm not going to put my foot down and say, hey, this is a good idea. Obviously, when it comes to money, $0 or no money is the best thing. So anyway, we're going to go into our mock draft into this whole thing. You got anything else you want to add about the Jalen Green and Isaiah Todd decision?
No, not really, man. It's just it could potentially be a change of the guard that kind of upsets the apple cart for the NCAA as far as do players now want to still go to the NCAA or, I wish it would have been in play. I thought they should never change the rule in the beginning. I think it should have still been allowed. If you're already out of high school to go pro or whatever, you should be allowed to do that because look at the way it's changed so many guys' fates. Like Michael Porter Jr., he went to college, got hurt. Now he was the 14th, 15th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Granted, better situation. He's being a top pick and some millions of dollars right there. So I wish it would never change, but that's the way it is. Society just playing catch up.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's go and move on to what we came to talk about. So we're talking about NFL draft. We're 1 week away. It's going to start around 8 o'clock ish once we're off the air next Thursday. So this is the better time to go ahead and get our official profit mock draft out there, our profit prediction for what we think will happen. Me and Rashad, we took turns individually. I guess we flipped the coin for to get the first pick, and then we went back and forth 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 32. Only a first round mock, and this is where we're going to answer our important questions. We're not going to do trades to start off because 1, too hard to predict, and 2, sometimes it'd be the craziest trades that nobody's talking about that all of a sudden happens. Like who knows? Minnesota may package both their picks and move up. You don't know. So that's why it's kind of too hard to predict. So there'll be no trades in this draft. So before we get straight into it, we're just going to go first my big board, my top 10 prospects in this draft, and then Rashad's big board, and then we're going to talk a little bit about that before we actually get into the selection. So here's my big boards up here. Number one, Chase Young. I mean, obviously, Jeff Okudah, number 2. Linebacker, Isaiah Simmons, who I also call him a Swift Army knife. He can do it all. Jedrick Wills, O-lineman at Alabama. I think he's my number 1 O-lineman. He's my favorite player from that, from the line, from the trenches. So I got to have him. I have 2 as my number 1 quarterback. Joe Burrow, number 2 quarterback. He's number 6 on my board. Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. And then I have Henry Ruggs, Judy, and CeeDee Lamb, receiver. Yes, I have Ruggs over Judy and CeeDee Lamb. I think Henry Ruggs could be potentially the best receiver in this class. Now we're going to move over to Rashad's board and let him talk about his order.
Pretty much almost the same, man. Of course, we both got Chase Young, number 1. That beast, I mean, he's the most pro-ready guy in this entire draft. I have Simmons, number 2. I think he's the second best pro-ready guy in this draft. Surprisingly to everybody right here is number 3 to me, Tua. The only reason that, Cincinnati's taking Burrow, potentially number 1, is because of Tua's injury history. But as far as I'm concerned, Tua is the best QB prospect, highest upside. And just based upon what we saw on film at Bama, he's 3. In my opinion, I have Okudah at 4. I mean, he could potentially be the next shutdown corner in this league. Then at 5, I put Joe Burrow just based upon the season he had. His first year at LSU wasn't that great, but what he did this past season was electric. Then I have Justin Herbert, 3rd best QB rated by me. I have Jerry Jeudy, best receiver. Henry Ruggs, the 2nd best. Then right below those 2 guys, I have Wirfs and the other O-lineman.
All right, so that's pretty much our board. Getting back to our scheduled program, where we have the list of teams, the order we're going in. We know Cincinnati been on the clock since week 5 when they was 0-5 down there, stinging it up. Zach Taylor. So I have the first pick. I've been granted the first picks. I'll be picking for all the odds numbers. Rashad will be picking for the evens. I think it's very very key that if you think about it, Jacksonville at 9, so I get a pick for them. Jaguars at 20, so Rashad get a pick for them. Vikings at 22, Rashad picks. Then I pick at 25. Miami got 3 picks in this draft. You got pick 5, 18, and 26. So Rashad gets to pick twice. I get to pick once for them. So I think that is very, very key in this right here. So everybody with multiple picks, we both get to weigh in. And we have our topics as we go along. So with that being said, here's our Prophet mock draft. So number 1, we know who it is. Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, the Bayou Bengal. He is getting the nickname because officially in 1 week he will be a Cincinnati Bengal. And hey, I mean, you can't really go wrong with this pick.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, hometown kid, the story's written itself based upon what he did in college. He will be number 1 pick. But now going on to number 2 with the 2nd pick in our Prophet mock draft, the Washington Redskins select Chase Young of Ohio State University.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I mean, if Redskins really want Cincinnati to make their pick, Washington Redskins, he should bring out both cards in his basement during the virtual draft and just say back-to-back, because Chase Young should already been a pick a long time ago as well. So Chase Young, our number 1 guy, number 1 board, he's already gone. So I think it's a no-brainer. Moving on to number 3. And this is kind of where we think, okay, does the draft start? Question I want to get into with you before we move on. Do you think the Chargers or the Dolphins at 5 and 6, are they inclined to move up here? Because in recent draft history, the Wentz and Goff, both teams moved up. Redskins packaged a lot of picks to go get Robert Griffin. It was pressure from other teams that also needed quarterbacks. And we talked about this quarterback market for a long time. And after free agency, I mean, the Bucks didn't need one. Carolina didn't need one. Who else? Who was up there at top? I mean, Jacksonville going with Gardner Minshew. So and then Chargers. I mean, we know Miami Chargers and the Bengals were really the only team that really needed one, and maybe the Patriots as a starter. We don't know. So do you think they're pressured to move up, or do you think, okay, well, I'm at 5. If Lions really don't get no great value, because who else is coming to get these picks?
I can't say they're feeling pressure to move up just because of the fact you're going to get one of them regardless, because, based upon how we're going through our draft, you're going to get one of these guys regardless. Now, the only thing that would incline you to move up would be if you fear that, let's say you're the Chargers, if you fear Miami takes the guy you want, now you have to move up. But if you have both prospects rated around the same, you think either one will work in your offense, you feel no pressure to move up. Now, the sneaky pressure could come from the Chargers division rival, the Oakland Raiders. Well, now Las Vegas Raiders. That's probably where the sneaky pressure could come in, because hypothetically, what if they want to move on from Derek Carr and they feel like they want to go up and get a QB? So that's where the pressure could come in if you think someone that low wants to move up. But I think between those two, Miami and LA Chargers, if they both view the guys the same way, like graded similarly, they don't have to worry about moving up. You can just take whichever one's left over for you.
Right, and to be honest, that's the bad thing for Detroit. Like, this is a team that needs multiple things. Like, it's not just who they going to select at number 3, but they have holes everywhere. And usually in most drafts, you can get a good haul for guys coming up to get these quarterbacks, and that's why I say I feel bad for them, because I don't, like you said, if everybody's saying Tua and Herbert are around the same, whether some teams value them differently, but if the consensus is they're around the same, like you said, Miami can sit there right at 5, Chargers sit right there at 6, because we know Lions not drafting a quarterback, and we know the Giants are not drafting a quarterback. So you don't need to move up unless you have these guys so far apart. Like, if you think Tua is so much better than Herbert, that's the only way. Otherwise, I don't see why, like, Lions getting a good haul for this. So I understand people keep saying, okay, we're going to trade back, but for what? Like, I mean, who's going to trade up? You know what I mean? So, like, Carolina took themselves out by signing Teddy Bridgewater, and there's only 2 teams there. So I don't get everybody talking about the Lions moving back. They should, but I don't think they can. So
yeah, my last point about it, there's no leverage. There's no leverage because Chargers have Tyrod Taylor. They can use him as a bridge QB for the next 2-3 years. Cam is out there potentially. People still high on him. Jameis Winston, people still high on him. At some point, the Lions may want to move on from Matt Stafford, things like that. So, with so many guys out there that you can trade for, Derek Carr may be on the block at some point. Right. With so many guys out there,
and there's no
leverage for the Lions.
And Dalton, too.
And the Dalton. So, there's no leverage right now. So, the Lions are kind of stuck.
You stuck. So, with that being said, the Lions are stuck, like you mentioned. Those are great points about Cam Newton with Jameis Winston and the Dalton and Derek Carr all potentially being available. So with the third pick in the draft, I will have Detroit Lions selecting Jeff Okudah. You traded Darius Slay away to the Eagles. You got a 3rd and a 5th, which is not a bad return for a guy who was leaving anyway. You get a Jeff Okudah who I think can, in this scheme, it's all about the man. Stephon Gilmore. You look at Byron Jones going to Miami. You look at what Adoree Jackson and Malcolm Butler were in Tennessee. So it's kind of the same kind of team. So Jeff Okudah, can he play man? Can he play zone? I think he can do both at an extremely high rate. So I would have him going to the Lions, partner with him with Trufant, and you got a solid cornerback room. Hopefully, because his defense was ranked 31 last year.
Yeah, he won't fix the defense,
right?
But it's a building block to start all over again. You weren't going to pay Slay. You brought in a few other pieces, from the New England tree along. Patricia's still there, so you brought some guys along from that Patriot tree. So building block to your defense. But now we're on pick number 4. It's back to me. The New York Giants are on the clock, And with the fourth pick in the draft, I have the New York Giants selecting Swiss Army knife defensive lineman, linebacker, safety,
Quarterback, coach, GM.
Everything you can think of, Mr. Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons is a great pick. So tell me where I'm wrong on this. I believe that the Giants probably should go after Willis. I think, or not Willis, but worse. So it could be Mekhi Becton. It could be Adrian Thomas. I just think that they need to get a tackle in this draft, and it's because one, Daniel Jones fumbles a lot. Protect him. Two, you drafted him at top 10. The year before that, you drafted Saquon Barkley second overall. So if you want to run the ball effectively, you want to be able to throw the ball effectively, you get somebody who can do both. But it's like, shouldn't they value protecting the investments? Or do you think, okay, we just said about Jeff Okudah can't fix defense, so can Isaiah Simmons, even though he can play all these positions, like what makes choosing Isaiah Simmons over the protection?
Well, like how you just named 4 different guys, I think the safer pick, at this point to me, when you're drafting, it's about best player available. Granted, they have multiple needs, so you can still fix a need.
Yeah.
And it's just my opinion. He's my favorite player in the draft. Along with Chase Young, the bust potential of Simmons is very, very low. So, I mean, depending upon how you're grading O-line, you can have Willis near the top. You can have Thomas near the top. You can have people are impressed with Becton's film. He can be near the top. Tristan Wirfs. Mm-hmm. So I think the bust potential of a going to O-lineman is higher because depending upon how you rate each guy, the situation you're putting them in offensive scheme-wise, it's just higher. So I would just take the best player available. He can do multiple things. You need defensive improvement as well. So it's not a bad pick going O-line or defense, but to me the bust potential just lower with Simmons, and you want to be risk-averse with the 4th pick.
That is true. You had the 6th pick last year, the 2nd pick year before, and now you got the 4th. I mean, to me, I think Daniel Jones showed enough flashes to me that he could be special. He could be a solid quarterback. Can he meet the Andy Dalton line, which is getting you to the playoffs every year? I think Daniel Jones can meet that line. You got Saquon Barkley, who's arguably the best running back in the game. So yeah, you got a 4th pick. You have to hit again because this Giants team need a lot. So yeah, you might be right. I can understand why you're saying that because you have so many potential guys. I think they're probably rumored to be 6 to 7 offensive linemen going in this draft. So you're right. I see your point. The Swiss Army knife, quarterback, receiver, tight end, slot back, wheel linebacker. It don't matter. He play everything.
Hey, it's like that meme. I play every position.
Hey, I mean, I never seen somebody like Isaiah Simmons. I mean, like he's big. He's big like a linebacker, but he's fast like a Derwin James. He can do everything. It's crazy. I think his best position is linebacker, and the reason why it's kind of hard for me to like if it was somebody else other than the Giants, I think this is a home run hit. The reason why I'm saying that is because all right, do you think the Giants coaching staff, do you think they can put him in the right position to be like a Hall of Famer? Because that's what you want when you draft somebody this high and of that caliber.
I would think so. People have criticized Dave Gettleman for various reasons. Some, were warranted, some unwarranted because they went and got Daniel Jones higher than people thought, but then they come to find out the Redskins were potentially looking at him, so you kind of were justified in taking him there early when you could have took somebody else.
Right.
So I think they don't let the media, even though it's New York, they don't let the media pressure get to them. They stick to their guns and they take the guy that they believe in. And I think taking Simmons is the best way to go. Joe Judge coming from that New England tree, he's been around Belichick, so he knows all about defense and stuff like that.
That's true. I like it. For this next 2 picks, I kind of want to go back to back before we get into it. So with the 5th pick, I chose to take Tua out of Alabama, quarterback, and then I'll let you go what you got with the 6th pick.
And with the 6th pick, the Los Angeles Chargers select Justin Herbert.
Now, the reason why we did at the same time is, for one, I think we both can agree. We both want Tua on the Chargers. We both want him to go, to LA in that great organization where you got weapons out the blue, you got great defense with them. It's kind of just like Alabama. I prefer him in LA because I like LA. I feel like that's where he can fit in and grow. And Herbert you can see him in Miami. He can kind of fit that. But it's like this the Dolphins GM. He went to like 4 to 5 Bama games. Like, and then you got another thing saying, oh, they prefer Justin Herbert. But then but what you're showing me, you want to see Tua. I mean, he's right not too far from Alabama. You showing me all that. So it's like, I don't know which one to believe. And because of my board, I'm thinking I got Tua way ahead of Justin Herbert. And it's like, I don't see how Miami can pass up on him. And even though I want to wheel him to LA, I prefer Herbert to go to Miami and Tua go 6. I just don't see them passing on Herbert. I don't believe that they have them ranked the same. That's just my opinion.
I mean, to me, Miami was just doing their due diligence of, studying both guys. And with Tua being closer, Florida and Alabama is right there. So, of course, you can get a chance to go see this guy more compared to going to Oregon and things like that. So,
true.
But I think they were just doing their due diligence on both guys because, like I just said about Isaiah Simmons, with these two quarterbacks, the risk reward that you're weighing out is big for both because you have Tua, who, when he's on the field, he's healthy. The tape doesn't lie. Mm-hmm. He's obliterated SEC defenses, which mainly have NFL guys on them. So, I mean, dude came back off his ankle injury and brought Alabama back against LSU in a phenomenal game. So, you see what he can do, what he did against Georgia. I mean, the tape just basically speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And then you have Herbert, who has a great arm, 6'5", 6'6", big body, big arm. In college at Oregon, he had some accuracy issues. He went back for his senior year, didn't really improve his draft stock. He's still not the first guy off the board. So it kind of makes you wonder, why did you go back outside to win the Rose Bowl? But granted, skill set wise, like a prototype, he has the look and the intangibles outside of leadership can be questioned, but who knows what he's like in the locker room
right.
or with team chemistry wise. So you kind of gotta, I see Tua as a guy that's like rocket fuel. Like he can just his presence alone. If he says guys we're not out of it,
you gotta believe it.
Like you be like, oh yeah, we're not out of it. But Herbert said it, you kind of be like, I don't know, bro.
Let's sit down.
Yeah, you'd be like, I don't know about that, bro. So to me, that's where the difference is, like the intangibles. But I think you have to weigh risk versus reward. Do you want to be the guy that's known as taking one over the other, and then this guy gets hurt, and this guy goes and becomes a Hall of Famer, or this guy flames out in his rookie deal, and this guy's putting up MVP numbers? So, I mean, it's a tough decision to live with for either GM.
Now, I would say this. So even though I chose Tua in this one, that's my beliefs is just I just think Tua do so much better. But if Herbert going to Miami and Tua going to the Chargers make the most sense because one, if Tua doesn't pop or he fails, should I say, it's not a devastating blow to the Chargers than it is to the Dolphins. If Dolphins do this again, you already tried to get Rosen and that didn't work out. I mean, how long does Fitzpatrick have, right? And you don't want to miss again on another quarter. Even though you traded for Rosen and he didn't work out, you haven't had a quarterback since Dan Marino. I mean, he had Chad Pennington, Matt Moore. I mean, who was Miami had?
Man, do not disrespect the great Jay Cutler like this.
I thought you about to give me a real name.
Do not disrespect the great Dante Culpepper like this.
Man, and they both was past their prime when they got there. But yeah, so you haven't had a real quarterback in Dan Marino, so you can't miss. And I think even if Herbert is not the greatest, I don't believe in Herbert. If he can be solid, all you gotta do is be the Andy Dalton line. If you can be Andy Dalton, that's fine. And if the Chargers get him and they miss, oh well. So.
Out here disrespecting Culpepper, Cutler, and Tannehill like that, man. But yeah, man, they haven't had a QB since Marino retired, bro. Like this.
That's sad.
That's been a while. So yeah, they made the playoffs a few times. They beat New England a few times. They've challenged for the division title at points, but they haven't been successful perennially.
Right. All right. So moving on to the next pick.
But I got an idea I want to bring up later on too about Miami with all these draft picks.
We'll get into that. So Carolina Panthers are now on the clock. I'm choosing for them. So Carolina really they have a lot of directions to go, and I think this is kind of where like the draft quote unquote starts because we know Isaiah Simmons probably don't get past Giants for the reasons you stated. And then we know 5 and 6 are going to be quarterbacks. We know the first 3 picks. This is where the draft. Who knows what's going to happen? I think with our profit draft day bet game, this is when it's going to get crazy. But I decided to take Javon Kinlaw. I have him top 7 on my board, and this is the 7th pick. So I'm going Javon Kinlaw, interior D line. I think that if you can build the trenches again, whether it's offensive line or D line, this is the way to go. If Isaiah Simmons was there, I would have took him because, like you said, Jack Armstrong can do everything, and Carolina Panthers have a lot of holes. But you need building blocks. You need to start up and start right. So I think Javon Kinlaw going at 7 to the Carolina Panthers make the most sense.
Yeah, he's a very interesting prospect. You also can see Brown going here.
Right. Yep.
So Brown or Kinlaw to begin the Matt Rule era. I don't think either's a bad choice. So going with Kinlaw's not bad.
All right, you can go into the Cardinals.
All right. And shout out to Carolina for signing McCaffrey to that big deal.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Man.
I forgot about that. So, all right, sports profit rule. We don't pay running backs. So, where do you fall at on this one when it's kind of similar to the DJ contract when he got paid when they had really no other talent outside like a few guys? $16 million like per year.
I'm cool with it, man. What he's doing, you have to pay somebody. So
yeah,
I mean, looking at the history of the Carolina franchise since we really start following it, like deep diving in it, they've always had that one face of the franchise: Steve Smith, Cam Newton, now it's McCaffrey. So you got to take care of your new face of the franchise. He works hard. I mean, I know last year when they were showing him how he was when beast mode came back looking like he was ready for action.
That boy was cut.
And then he's been putting up 1,000-yard seasons and making All-Pro, making the Pro Bowl. He hasn't shown an injury history that we know of. What he's doing now was the same thing he did at Stanford. So I think it's a safe and good move to pay him. He won't get in off the field trouble. He won't turn into a diva. He's a class act in my opinion. So the $16 million resetting the RB market, I can't blame that either because if Zeke is getting 13, 14, I think it's 14, and this guy actually catches the ball way better than Zeke and he can run it, you have to up that price a little bit. So, he'll get his last year of his rookie deal, I think, this upcoming season. Then I think it'll kick in the following year. So you'll basically have him for 4 years cheap, 4 years at a high premium. That's not bad. I mean, it all balances itself out, so it's not bad.
Yeah, I don't like I said the DJ contract. I think they only had Pat Pete, Chandler Jones. They was trying to find a quarterback, couldn't find that. Larry Fitzgerald wasn't expensive, so it's kind of like we wasn't paying nobody. We're playing like four guys. It's fine. We can do it. And I think the same can be said for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, man. I think they made a good move. Pick number 8, the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock. And with the 8th pick, I have the Cardinals selecting Tristan Wirfs, who I have as the best old tackle on the board.
Yeah, great pick. I can see the Cardinals are another team that direction. They have a lot of direction they can go as well. Whether are they gonna start do something on defense, or are they just gonna ride with Chandler Jones and Pat Pete? But are you gonna protect Kyler Murray and actually use D-Hop? So because if Kyler Murray on his butt, what's the point of having D-Hop? So yeah, you're right. Tristan Wirfs is a great pick at this pick, right here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna harp on it long. I just thought O-line's the best bet for Kyler Murray. They probably had plans on paying Ken Drake a little bit or something. So you got to have somebody on O-line.
Definitely. Moving on to number 9, Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's kind of like the same thing Carolina Panthers are in. You have to build the trenches. So we talked about Derrick Brown earlier. Where this is where he falls off the board. I got Derrick Brown going to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the 9th pick.
Same thing I said about McCaffrey a second ago. You lost Luke Kuechly to retirement. Brown could be your potential foundational building block on defense.
Right. And Jacksonville, like you lose Calais Campbell, you lose Jalen Ramsey, Tubba Smith retired, so you gotta start building a defense back because it used to be called Saxonville, but it only lasted 1 year.
Yeah, like so many of these teams are in the similar predicaments. Like, Carolina lost Keeper, so now you want to rebuild your defense. Now, like you just mentioned about the Jags, Ramsey's out, Boye's out, Calais Campbell's out, and Ngakoue once out.
Gone,
They traded some other guy. Yeah, they traded some other guy. So Jacksonville has to put a stalwart on their defense. You got Josh Allen. Go ahead and get Brown right here, and now you're starting to potentially rebuild what you had a couple years ago.
Definitely.
All right, we got Cleveland Browns up next. Probably the most interesting team up to this point, in my opinion, just because they always do something that nobody's expecting. But I hope they address their offensive line need, and I think they will probably fall in love with the film. I got Mekhi Becton.
I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, if you want to protect him, that's how you hide Baker Mayfield behind that big man, Mekhi Becton. Oh yeah, you're right. Don't do. It's so simple. Now we heard rumors about them trading back, but it's so simple. Just draft a tackle. A+.
Yeah,
A+ first round.
Yeah, like at this point, everybody's graded differently. So
right.
I don't care. I don't care if it's Willis. I don't care if it's Wirfs. I don't care if it's Thomas, Becton. Just get an O tackle. Just address your offensive line. You see Baker's getting sacked, running for his life. Do something to address the offensive line.
Right. You add him with Conklin, Brown. He's standing straight up now. The Jets on the clock, and because I thought he'd be gone already. He's still on the board. I'm going Wills here from Alabama. He's my fourth player on my board, and he fell all the way to 11. I think the Jets should be in the same thing. Lamar Jackson got protection. The Buffalo Bills are trying to protect Josh Allen. So it's only right that Browns did it for Baker Mayfield, and now the Jets can do it for Sam Darnold. I think Willis, he's my best one, so I feel like this is a steal for him. And like you said, the Browns, if they get any tackle, A+.
Yeah, I think the only dilemma for the Jets may be, do we go O tackle to protect Darnold? We still have Bell on the roster, so running the ball is a priority for right now. Or do you try to go get you a outside weapon that could potentially have immediate impact in a Ruggs or a Judy? So, it depends what their priority is. I mean, do they even keep Adam Gase as the coach, because he hasn't shown flashes of becoming a great coach? His claim to fame is just being Peyton Manning's guy.
Man.
So,
Gase is so
hopefully,
Gase is so
hopefully the GM, is planning this pick without Adam Gase in mind. Like just take best available and team need.
Definitely. You can't go wrong.
And it's the Las Vegas Raiders making their first pick as Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, we have COVID-19 going on, so the draft won't be in Vegas. But I think they still make a splash with AB out, Tyrell Williams not being consistent enough. You do have Darren Waller, who's Waller the baller. Shout out Matthew Berry. You got Josh Jacobs. You got Hunter Renfrow, who showed flashes. Continue to build the offensive weaponry for Derek Carr. I have Mr. Henry Ruggs going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I like it. Speed. I mean, he's more than just speed, though, and that's the thing people don't realize. He's my number one receiver for a reason. He come off the board first. He can do it all, and on top of that, he's really fast. You remember longest yard? Really fast.
Dude is a machine, man. He's a machine.
Yeah, he's a problem, man. John Gruden gonna fall in love with that, definitely.
Before we move on too fast, do you think they should move up though, like for a QB and trade Carr out, or do you think they should just stay pat and get weapons?
I think because they're at 12. I mean, 12 and 19. I feel like that's too far for the Lions to go back. Because I mean, the Lions need a lot of needs, but will they give up 12, 19, and pick? Because Raiders need picks too, And
they need help.
They need help. So I don't know. I think it's rather just see Derek Carr or never mind, Derek Carr. I'm not gonna say nobody else's name. I'm gonna see if Derek Carr is the guy, because if Derek Carr is the guy, we know the guy behind him is not the guy. So they'll be back down here in the bottom of the draft next year if they don't pan out. So
all right. So one more point then. Do they reach and get Jordan Love here? and trade Derek Carr then.
No, I
Let's
can't
do it that way.
I could not for 12. Now you say 19, we can talk, but with 12 with so many great prospects on the board still, I couldn't do the reaching. Not Jordan Love. I just can't reach that high. Not 12.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
49ers, they traded this pick. They traded Buckner to the Colts. He signed a massive deal. But here they are. I think the reason why I went this pick is because the uncertainty of the position. So I went CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma for the 49ers. I think that, with Debo is the only one that I trust. You traded a pick for Sanders. Now he's gone. Didn't want to pay him. But Pettis, man, I drafted him in Dynasty high. Regret that instantly. He's sorry. Godwin can't stay
the
healthy.
injuries and everything, man.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy. And then you got
Trent Taylor.
Trent Taylor, he can't stay healthy.
Guys.
Kendrick Bourne he's solid, but I don't think he can be a number 2. I think he's more of a number 3. And then who was I remember somebody else? I think that's it. Because Sanders gone. So I just think that they need somebody else that's more consistent, and who can be more consistent than CeeDee Lamb with 3 different quarterbacks 3 years in a row and dominate. I mean, he had Kyler Murray, Baker, and Jalen Hurts, and still was the best player on the field. So I'm going CeeDee Lamb.
Man, I just have 2 words. Kyle Shanahan. You put CeeDee Lamb over there, it's over. Yeah. CD,
he about to go crazy.
And Debo, man, him and Debo together, plus George Kittle.
Crazy.
And you got
the running game already going to be top 5.
You still got Mostert and all those guys, and people are asleep on Jimmy G, man. Like, Jimmy G, this was just his first year completely starting. Like, just the first year completely starting. So he'll get more comfortable with Kyle. He'll learn from the Super Bowl experience. His game will continue to evolve and grow. Always remember, there's a reason Belichick wanted to keep him
over Tom Brady.
So,
I'm
when I hear Bill Belichick and Kyle Shanahan both cover the guy, I'm gonna trust those guys.
Yeah, definitely. CeeDee Lamb, you just can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
And here's one of our favorite teams, man. We love Bruce Arians. We have the Bucks on the clock. They just brought in Tom Brady. You got Godwin on the outside. It was on the outside. So, of course, in a receiver deep draft, you don't need that. But they do need what else is deep on this board, and that's offensive line. I have Andrew Thomas going to the Bucks to help Tom Brady out.
Definitely. It's about time he came off the board. Andrew Thomas, Andrew Thomas.
Andrew, my bad.
Andrew Thomas, I think, is the best one right now. But I think he has the lowest ceiling out of Becton, Wills, and Wirfs. So I don't know how good he's going to be, but I think he's the most ready. He's been starting since he's been a freshman at Georgia, like in SEC football. So Thomas is a great pick. I think Tom Brady will love it. He got time. So Evans and Godwin, let's go.
Yep, and they want to implement a run a little bit too. So you need somebody to keep Tom Brady upright at 40 years old and get your running game going.
Right. Before I go into my next pick with the Denver Broncos, we're gonna take a quick commercial and then we'll be right back.
That's what's needed to get to that next level. I'm Rob Pennell, and I'm going to teach you how to be an offensive machine.
All right, we're back. So, all right, now I think I'm on the clock with the Denver Broncos. This is another team that have a lot of different directions. I thought corner, receiver, O-line, they need a lot of different things. But I just can't let this guy stay on the board any longer. And he's a top 10 guy of mine on my big board. Yours as well. Jerry Jeudy, Alabama, the best route runner I've ever seen in my life coming out of college. I mean, the cuts, the quickness, the shiftiness. Now, the reason why I can understand why CD and Henry Brooks would come off before him. It's like you kind of, because I think once Jerry Jeudy hit that number 1 spot for so long, it's like you have to find like tweaks in his game why he shouldn't be number 1. And I think that's kind of why he's kind of falling. Because you think about it, like this time last year, everybody was saying, "Oh, Jerry Jeudy will be the first pick off the board." And then all of a sudden, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, he not the best receiver on this team. So you got the different things. So, but Jerry Jeudy, I think this guy's a Kansas prospect. And when you talking about Sutton and him, oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Broncos need another receiver. So it's interesting that they go him because this is the best prospect on the board at this point. And you need weapons for Drew Lock. You have Noah Fant, Cortland Sutton. They brought in Melvin Gordon. You have Lindsey. So they do have things offensively for Lock to work with. But I want to see what they do. I thought they would make, wide receiver or cornerback would be perfect right here.
Yeah.
And even O-line right here. So it just kind of depends upon, we're doing it from our POV point of view. So, and Judy's here, you got to take Judy. Come on.
That's the only reason why. If it wasn't, like, if it was, they was all going, I'm going a different direction. If Ruggs, Jeudy, and Lamb do not make it to 15, I'm going somewhere else.
All right. It's the Atlanta Falcons on the clock.
Dirty Bird.
A team that needs everything. I think I need to trade Matt Ryan. But I think the biggest need right now, based upon, what's available, you have to go Henderson. I think right here is good value at this pick. You can't pass him up.
CJ Henderson. So some people think got Henderson number one. They board over Okudah. I mean, I don't knock him for doing so. I think Okudah is 1 and Henderson is 2. But I think it's a gap from 2 to 3. So I think these two guys are the top of their class. And Falcons get a steal with him being on the board. We heard rumors about them traded up for him. But I think this is a good. I mean, to get in front of Denver if the receivers fall is probably the smart thing to do. But you never know what Denver's going to do. But yeah, you're right, man. CJ Henderson, excellent pick for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, you can't pass them up.
Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, star helmet. This is America's team apparently. Everybody's gonna have all eyes on this team during this pick. And I went K'Lavon Chaisson out of LSU. Now we can talk about what they did way back when they drafted Taco Charlton instead of JJ Watt. TJ. What did I say? JJ.
Yeah.
Well, it don't matter. Why? You saw Watt. You should have drafted. Damn it. But Alden Smith, I can't trust that. I can't trust Randall Gregory being reinstated. Those two guys are in legal troubles for reasons, obviously. So I'm gonna go with somebody who's young, raw, but he can gather the quarterback in it. So I like Caleb on here.
I don't care what the Cowboys do at this pick as long as it's defense. They need defense bad.
Yes, safety, corner, linebacker, it don't matter. Defensive coach,
so,
it don't matter.
So, yeah, at this point, just take defense and keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
We got Miami back on the clock. You had the first pick for the Dolphins. I have the second pick from Miami. And I'm going Jackson. Right here.
Austin Jackson out of USC. I mean, yeah, you got to protect them. You can't let him get hurt. You can't let you if I went to he got injury history. You got to protect him. I mean, that's just how it is. So that's a good pick. I like it.
Yeah, it addresses one of their needs. So just keep it safe. Play by the board of what's available. Address the team need.
They would love for one of these other tackles to fall, but like you think they trade up like with all these picks, and you see like, oh, Wills is falling, let's go get him, or do you think they just let it ride and just use all their draft picks for all the players they got?
Depending upon what they value and what's on the board, like who's in front of them, like is it a team that wants to move back? Like if it's like a Denver may want to move back. It kind of depends upon it'll depend upon who it is and where they're falling at.
Gotcha. I have the Las Vegas Raiders. You took Henry Ruggs, which was an A+ pick, and I'm coming right behind you with another A+ pick. I'm going Kenneth Murray. Yes, they took a lot. They signed Corey Littleton in free agency, but you got to you have to address that lead for Raiders. John Gruden won the Super Bowl with Derek Brooks. And I feel like
Warren Sapp,
John Lynch, and look, he drafted John Abrams last year. He drafted Clinton Farrell, but he's not Simeon Rice. But you gotta get your Derek Brooks in this defense. So I'm gonna go Kenneth Murray, a sideline player. I like him a lot. I think if they go over Henry Ruggs and Kenneth Murray, that's A+.
Yeah, they can do a lot right there, man. I think, the entire draft is going to be unpredictable. I think right here again is where it kind of starts to pique your interest. Like you said, for a draft game, it's pretty interesting. So
I'm gonna lose money, boy.
I'm back on the clock with the Jags, and we mentioned earlier they have multiple needs. We gave them Brown in the first with their first pick. Right here, you got Fulton, but I think they go Epinesa. I think he's just a safe pick.
Hey, you talking about really building the trenches? Josh Allen, superstar. We already got Derek Brown earlier, and now we get Epinesa, who can play the Calais Campbell role because he's big. Like he's not Calais Campbell big, but he's pretty big. Like 6'5", like 270. Like this guy can play the 3-4 defensive end. So yeah, and they already got a trade in Ngakoue, so you might as well go ahead and replenish that D line and Saxonville may return. It may return.
Like I know we both like Fulton a lot too.
Yeah.
But I think just as a safety pick, they'll probably go Epinesa.
All right, so I'm back on the clock. Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team that's receiver needy. And Howie Roseman only likes to draft offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and quarterback in the first round. Well, he paid Hargrave, Fletcher Cox get money. He already drafted Derek Barnett. Offensive line, they're stacked and paid. Brandon Brooks, Kelsey, who I'm missing? Who's the right tackle? Lane Johnson. They already got all that. And I think the tackles are kind of off the board right now. So they need a receiver. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to draft them Patrick Queen. And I think Philadelphia fans need to realize, like, with this deep draft, if there's no Henry Ruggs, Judy, and Lamb on the clock, I like Justin Jefferson a lot. I think he's the fourth receiver on my board. But it's like, you pay Darius Slay at corner. You pay Hargrave, you got Fletcher Cox, who's probably the second or third best defensive player in the game. Why don't you get somebody in the middle of that defense and be the quarterback of that team? Like, and Patrick Queen can do a lot of things, and I'd rather build the linebacker because they always just patch it up and hope veterans work, which it does. But if the receivers get hurt again, if the Eagles can rely on defense, this thing can go back to the Super Bowl.
I mean, Wentz is good enough to elevate lower level talent. Get a receiver late on his draft. Address a different need at this pick right here. It's first round. You got receivers that can go third round, fourth round deep. Take another need right here. Get receiver later. So yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got Jeffrey Deshaun Jackson. Yes, they get hurt a lot. You drafted Jay Jaw. But then again, you got Zach Ertz. Hello. Dallas Goedert. Hello.
I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up a little bit. My next pick. Your Minnesota Vikings on the clock. I think it's an easy one. Address your key need. Go get Gladney.
Oh, I love it. I ain't got nothing to say about it. Shout out to Minnesota, Jeff Gladney. I would love it. For real. Moving on. New England Patriots. This could be the Jordan Love territory. But I think they believe in Jarrett Stidham, so I'm going to listen to what I've been hearing. And I think they're going to see Cesar Ruiz out of Michigan, offensive lineman. To me, I just think with Andrews being hurt, Shaq Mason got paid and he's been inconsistent. And then who's Thuney on a franchise contract?
Yeah, he might get traded.
Right, he might get traded. So it's like let's get somebody who can come in and establish that and be dominant from day one.
Yeah, they need somebody who can play. They love versatility on the offensive line, so somebody who can do everything. So
center guard, left guard, right guard, yeah, he can do it all.
Yeah. So yeah, they need O-line badly.
Would you say Cesar Ruiz is the fat version of Isaiah Simmons?
yeah, on the O-line side, yeah. And it's the Saints up next, and they have they're going for it Super Bowl wise, but I think they need to get something for the future. And you just said a second ago, it's J Love territory. Sean Payton can do something with this guy. I'm going Jordan Love to the Saints.
Yeah, you put any quarterback with Sean Payton, you're probably going to be successful. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's 5-0. Drew Brees dominated his whole career, even though he was already good. But I mean, he been. I think Sean Payton been hiding the flaws of Drew Brees. We'll get into that another day. But yeah, you're right. Jordan Love is great. Pick for the Saints right here because the roster's still good, so they don't really need a first round pick to come in and do something.
Yeah, not right away.
For Minnesota, pick 25, I got Gross Matos out of Penn State. No Everson Griffin, so we got to get at the quarterback. The Neil Hunter cannot do it himself, so I'm going Gross Matos.
All right. Back to Miami again. I'm back on the clock. I think the safest thing to do here is go McKinney. I think McKinney's the safest thing to go.
I like it. I'm battling between McKinney and Winfield as my number one safety, but McKinney can do it all. He can guard tight ends, receivers, kind of like what Brian Jones did back in the day. So when he played safety, so I'm gonna go. I like that pick a lot. Dallas. Miami. That's a great pick. Seattle. I think this roster they need to protect Russell Wilson. They just lucky that he can run from pressure. So I'm giving Josh Jones out of Houston tackle. I just think they need to shore up that line, and because they be using like six linemen on like run plays, and they want to run the ball because they can't protect Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russ a bust. He's been saving them for years. So please protect Russ by all means, because I don't want to see Russ get hurt. He's only 31.
I don't want to see it.
He got plenty of game left. Do not get him hurt.
Please.
We have the team with the MVP, led the league in all different kind of categories.
Every category.
won the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens, a team with one of the low-key, most annoying fan bases. But right here, man, I know they love Mark Ingram, and they have other needs they could address, but I had them taking a running back just for the future, and I gave them the Wisconsin back, Jonathan Taylor.
So you took a running back. Now, I like the pick. I think John Taylor's special. This guy's power and speed. You talking about somebody who can run you over and go like 80 yards to the crib. Like this guy can do it all. And with Lamar Jackson, I think any running back with Lamar Jackson it's probably gonna be special because I'm worried about Lamar.
then you got three running backs. You got Lamar, Mark Ingram, and a rookie. You got three running backs.
I knew you were gonna bring it up. Yeah, you're right. That's cheating. You're talking about running back by committee, boy. No, that's great pick. Even though, I mean, a lot of people don't think running backs going first round, and who knows? But I'm on the mindset is, I mean, Baltimore, they got everything they need. Really, they just added pieces now. They got everything really. Tennessee Titans on the clock now. For some reason, we are letting Christian Fulton fall in this draft, and I don't know why. He must have had a diluted sample or something. He must have posted a picture of something because
I'll just looking at that, man. We haven't taken him yet.
We haven't taken him, and I'm not gonna do it. I went AJ Terrell. I think when we talk about speed, AJ Terrell one of the fastest corners in this game, in the draft class, and I mean he's long. He can do it all, and with Clemson, he was dominant. He played a lot of receivers in that playoff game, and he got beat a couple times, but you got to think he can. So, but with Tennessee, with Vrabel and the linebackers, the defensive line they got, Kevin Bird back there, Bayard back there. So, AJ Terrell, sorry Fulton, I don't know what's going on, man. You must have said you got some racist tweets or something down there because you falling.
Man, it wasn't a problem if Tennessee even trade back, but
yeah, definitely they probably trade back for real at this spot.
I mean, we got the team I thought would win the Super Bowl right here, but they got annihilated by my surprise team, the 49ers, twice.
Whew.
And their quarterback is in win-now mode, Aaron Rodgers. Man, Christian Fulton is still too hard to pass up right here, but I'm gonna pass him up. I'm gonna give Green Bay Jalen Reagor because MVS and Geronimo Allison just aren't good enough weapons. Jimmy Graham didn't do enough. I think they need another weapon there. So pass my with Devontae Adams, Jalen Reagor.
Jalen Reagor out of TCU, I like it. I think it give him a different guy. It give him like a Randall Cobb vibe because they draft all these 6'5" players. Like, can you get the man some speed out here? Like, take the ball on a 10-yard slant and go to the crib. I'm tired of Rodgers having to sit back there and getting smacked around. I mean,
trying to save the day.
Hey, yeah, let Rodgers is getting old. Can we please just throw a 2-yard out and let the guy go 40 yards? Like, come on, we need some of that in the offense. 49ers on the clock. Could have won the Super Bowl. Almost did win the Super Bowl. Was up 10 points lead and still lost. They already took CeeDee Lamb. So anything else they do right now is just adding to the game, adding to an already made team. I went Antoine Winfield Jr., the highest IQ coming out I've ever seen. This guy is smart. He's 5'9", honey badger-ish, but he can do it all. And I think as a true free safety, I mean, he can tear it up in the pass game. So just don't ask him to stop everybody on the run game because he is 5'9", but he's not scared of it. So bloodlines, Antoine Winfield Sr., man, for the Vikings, man. So got to go my boy Antoine Winfield Jr.
And with the last pick of the Prophets mock draft, the reigning Super Super Bowl champions of the world, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Undisputed.
They select. He's fell too far. They select Christian Fulton.
I like it. It's a lot of things about different running backs or linebacker where they go. There's no Queen. There's no Murray on the board. So Christian Fulton fell down. I don't know what happened to him. But we got to read the reports because I don't know why he managed to fall to Kansas City. That's really cheating if you think about it. Like they get a top, maybe a third corner on most people's boards, but after Okudah and C.J. Henderson, they get him a 32nd pick. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, he'll be motivated after falling this far. And then you got Andy Reid who can coach anybody up, and he's the kind of guy. Based upon our draft, Fulton got some issues. So Andy Reid's the kind of guy who he'll take a chance on that kind of guy and get him right. So,
oh man,
Christian Fulton makes sense right here.
Yeah, man. First of all, yeah, I don't understand what happened to him. We got to read the tea leaves and figure out what happened. But that's our private mock draft. What we think would happen for 1 through 32, and I know we didn't do any trades, but do you see anybody potentially like moving up or making a splash? Anything?
If it's not the Raiders I want to see Miami trade with the Cowboys and send Dak to Miami, give Cowboys some picks. They can get 2 or something like that. Maybe Odell trade, Browns trade him to the NFC to somebody like the 49ers. I want to see something crazy happen. Like, give me a big shakeup, man. A major shakeup.
You said Dak and you said OBJ. Hold on now. that'll be crazy. If Miami do that, send Dak, Cowboys for the 5th pick, probably, and some other picks involved. Dak Prescott on a team like the Miami Dolphins, he's gonna be the best quarterback in the division by far. Like, how far can Miami go?
I mean, they've made all the right moves to become a Super Bowl contender. Man. And I just think this could be the missing piece. You don't have to worry about Justin Herbert or Tua. Give up the 5th pick.
Probably
Ryan Fitzpatrick trade the 5th pick, because if you trade that, you want a QB back, and they want to stay cheap, and they paying everybody. So you gotta get a QB. So you gotta go Tua. There's no need for Fitzpatrick anymore. They'll need a starter because I don't think Tua will be day 1 ready. So Fitzpatrick, your 5th pick, and then something else.
Probably second and third, maybe another first.
Maybe that last first, which would be 27. Maybe that, or at least something in the 2nd, 3rd round. For a guy of Dak's caliber, you have to give up something major. He's proven he can be a winner.
Yeah, I can put Dak Prescott in my top 10 quarterbacks. So Miami do that right there. And then on top of that, even Dak they'll pay him. You still got Rosen as a good backup as well. So you're right. You don't need Fitzpatrick. That would be crazy. Like, hey, you heard it here first. Dak to Miami. Dak is going to Miami. Man,
if I can't get Dak to Miami, at least give me Matt Ryan to the wing. I'm sick of him suffering on the god-awful Falcons.
Falcons can't get right. The only team I see teams making a move, I think Jacksonville, if they may surprise us and not pick 9, they might go back and just pick up more assets and maybe get a later first round. I think they still come away with 2 guys in the first round, but this Jacksonville team, they need a lot. Like, you lost too many people in a very fast fashion. So maybe recruit some of that. I don't know.
I can agree with that, man. I can agree with that.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a bad trade back candidate.
It's gonna be crazy. So, hey, if anybody want to join our draft day profit betting game, we do it for the first round. Hit our DMs, Pastor _ Kevin Kev, Mr. Rashad _ Too Cool. Hit us up on there. You can play. And hey, all you gotta do is bring your money, and we will gladly take it. Gladly take it. But it's not like it's really a simple game. A lot of fun. Like me and Rashad played last 3 years, and you'll win getting 10 right because we be wrong all the time. The draft too unpredictable, man. So that's really all the time we got. We got a few seconds left. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Rashad?
I'm good, bro.
Hey, so we'll be back. Hey, I got a preaching to the choir, Minnesota Viking edition It's coming Monday. Make sure you find Twitter, Facebook Live. I'll be doing all that. That's gonna be a good one because I got two people from Minnesota. They're gonna come with the heat. I told them to come with the heat because we gotta go off our guys. So that's it for the Preach Care Preach podcast with Rashad. We out.